Every year, casinos around the world make over $200 billion, not from luck, not from cheating, from math, cold, simple, unbeatable math. And the strange part? They tell you exactly how it works, print it right there on the machine, and people still walk in thinking they can beat it. Today we're breaking down exactly how casinos are built to make sure you lose, and why your brain is wired to keep coming back anyway. It starts with something called the house edge. Every single game in a casino, roulette, blackjack, slots, craps, is mathematically tilted in the casino's favor. Not by a lot, sometimes just 1 or 2%. But that tiny percentage, repeated across millions of bets every single day, turns into a guaranteed river of profit. Take American roulette. There are 38 numbers on the wheel, 1 through 36, plus a 0 and a double 0. If you bet on a single number and win, the casino pays you 35 to 1. Sounds fair, right? Except the real odds of hitting that number are 37 to 1. That tiny gap between what you should be paid and what you're actually paid, that's the house edge. On American roulette, it sits at about 5.26%. 5% doesn't sound scary, but here's the thing. You're not betting once. You're betting again and again and again. Over thousands of spins, that 5% edge becomes mathematically unbeatable. It's not about any single bet. It's about volume. The casino doesn't need to win every hand. It just needs enough hands. 5% doesn't sound scary, but here's the thing. You're not betting once. You're betting again and again and again. Over thousands of spins, that 5% edge becomes mathematically unbeatable. It's not about any single bet. It's about volume. The casino doesn't need to win every hand. It just needs enough hands. This is where the law of large numbers comes in. Flip a coin 10 times, and you might get 7 heads. Flip it 10 million times, and you'll land almost exactly at 50%. Casinos are playing the 10 million flip version of every game, every single day, across every single table. Individual players get lucky. The casino, over time, never does, because it doesn't need luck. It has volume. Now let's talk about the real profit engine, slot machines. Table games might look like the heart of a casino, but slots generate the majority of casino revenue worldwide, and they're the most carefully engineered devices in the entire building. Slot machines run on something called a random number generator, cycling through thousands of number combinations every second, even when nobody's playing. The moment you hit the button, it locks onto whatever number it landed on at that exact instant. There's no pattern, no rhythm, no machine that's due for a win. Every spin is a completely independent event. So why do people believe some machines are hot or cold? That belief is one of the most well-documented cognitive errors in psychology, the gambler's fallacy. Our brains are pattern-seeking machines. We expect randomness to even out quickly. If a coin lands on heads 5 times in a row, most people feel tails is due, but the coin has no memory. Neither does the slot machine. Casinos don't just rely on math. They engineer the experience around a psychological trick called the near-miss effect. Slot machines are specifically programmed to show near wins more often than pure randomness would produce. 2 matching symbols and a third just 1 line away. Your brain doesn't process that as a loss. It processes it as almost a win, and almost winning releases dopamine, the same way an actual win does. You lost, but your brain tells you to keep going. Then there's variable reward, arguably the most powerful psychological hook ever built into a machine. If you knew a slot machine paid out every 10th spin, you'd stop finding it interesting. But because the payout is random and unpredictable, your brain treats every single pull as a fresh chance. This exact mechanism, unpredictable reward, is the same one behind social media notifications and mobile game loot boxes. Casinos figured this out first, and figured it out decades before Silicon Valley did. Walk into any casino and you'll notice something odd. There are no clocks and rarely any windows. This isn't an accident, it's deliberate architecture. Without a visible sense of time, players lose track of how long they've been playing. Some casinos pump in oxygen-enriched air to keep people more alert for longer. Free drinks aren't hospitality, They're designed to gently lower inhibition and slow down decision-making without pushing anyone into visibly reckless behavior. Even the layout is engineered. Slot machines are placed on winding, maze-like paths, specifically so that players have to walk past dozens of machines just to reach the exit, the restroom, or the restaurant. Every additional machine you pass is another quiet opportunity to sit down and play just one more spin. Card counting in blackjack proved that human skill could theoretically shift the odds for a while. In the 1960s, a mathematician named Edward Thorpe published a strategy showing that tracking high and low cards could tilt blackjack slightly in the player's favor. Casinos didn't ban math, they changed the rules, more decks, frequent reshuffling, and banning players suspected of counting. The house edge is not just built into the games, it's actively defended. So can anyone actually win at a casino? In the short term, absolutely. People win jackpots every single day, and casinos want you to see that, because a big visible win keeps everyone else playing. But over a long enough timeline, the math always wins. Every professional gambler who has made money long-term did it in games with a genuine skill edge, like professional poker, where you're playing against other players, not the house, or in narrow windows before casinos corrected the rules. None of this means casinos are doing something illegal. The odds are public, the math is published. What makes this system so effective isn't deception, it's psychology stacked on top of statistics. The games are fair in the sense that the odds are disclosed, but fair doesn't mean equal. And understanding exactly why the odds are built the way they are is the first step to seeing gambling for what it actually is. Entertainment you pay for, not an investment strategy. The next time you walk past a casino or see a slot machine app on your phone, remember this. The house edge isn't a rumor, it's a mathematical certainty, refined over more than a century, backed by some of the smartest statisticians and psychologists money can hire. You're not playing against bad luck. You're playing against a system engineered so precisely that, over time, losing isn't the risk, it's the guarantee.